ask a few questions. I've gone through quite a lot of research in the banking, this cleanup. As at the end of 2016, now the things were very bad, and we have to admit that things were very bad in the banking sector.
Okay.
Of course, if you blame the NDC government for that, fine. But they've been out of office for what, 6 years now. And we should take action. Now, the amount of money that the finance ministry is claiming that was used for the banking cleanup, let's do some mathematics here. The 8 banks that went down, I think the composition of their deposits near 12% of the overall deposit in the country. And engineers away calculations that sometimes it will be a friendly safety factor. Assuming that these banks were not reporting correctly, because it's bad reporting and a causal collapse of the banks, although we're not being honest. Now, man, factor of safety cry 2 multiplied by 2, so okay, 24%. Some of them they didn't report one to be a Sikano, you fancy 24% cry. How come that we can use 25 billion, which is about 55%? Of that deposit? Because as at the end of, according to Pricewaterhouse and KPMG report, it was 45 billion, the total money interest holdings.
Yes. Okay.
Not the total assets, 65 or something, but the interest, the holdings, deposits, was 45 billion. So even if a lot of it is impaired, it could not have been more than 10 billion. And if you talk to some of the experts in the banking industry, in the economy, they think that we shouldn't have spent more than 10 billion
in cleaning up.
Because the banks were saying that if you gave them liquidity support of maybe 8-9 billion, they could have stayed on their feet, could have kept their jobs, then depositors would not be under threat. And that there has to, questions have to be asked, and I'm beginning to hear, especially some of the auditors, they were compensated far in excess of what they were supposed to be compensated. And it has caused a lot of problems in there's something wrong going on in this economy. Look, I've had reason to say this in many other places, and I want to state this again. We have a country where even the extractive industry, there's a gold idea, we are unable to monitor the actual amount of production. Because there was an audit, international audit, and I believe the government is aware of that audit. If you go to the destinations, the key destinations of our gold export, so refining, so you have to quote the correct figures. There's a big disparity, just a disconnect between gold now receiving the gold no free.
I see.
So what is happening
in terms of quantum?
So it means that the taxes, they are under declaring even the shores. So it means that there's a shortfall for the Ghanaian people and the Ghanaian government, revenue shortfall. So and these are things that you have to make such structures. You are in government as a leader, the tone that you set. And the values that you espouse. And no, it rubs off on your cabinet, it rubs off on your party, and eventually the country that we live in. And I think I wasn't too happy with some of the remarks. Some of them, because you have to set a very high bar. And you have to demand results from your team. You should never be satisfied and say no, you think they're no. Especially when the results do not suggest Sana happen.
And the people are calling.
You don't even have to wait for the people. I know I'm not populist. Into me, those things, you're a political leader. You look at the data, as they say, the data and the science. So and it's clear evidence. So right now, Treasury bill rates are back up 27-29%. Interest rates are over. Inflation is over 32%. So we are in dangerous territory. And so therefore, the only major thing that the president can do to arrest the situation is to clear out the managers of the economy. And it's a fact. That is what is left for him to do. Because you can't let the same people who have driven us to this stage remain in office.
The president
Nobody is looking for
Kenufriata's
job, but we are looking for the economic health of this country. And some of us have to stand up and be counted. I would rather die speaking the truth than be populist because me MPP. I'm an MPP person. Everybody knows I love this country. When we were behind the Akuffo Addo in 1998, most of these guys were also in this country. They didn't have faith in him. I'm beginning to wonder whether they are serving him and serving the country.
The interest.
That's right. I'm beginning to ask them, are they really true MPP people? Do they have MPP cards? I want to see when they sign on to this MPP and which constituencies they belong to, because I think a lot of the key people around him don't have this party at heart, and they are damaging the party and damaging the country at the same time, and it's going to damage the brand of our MPP. Those of us, the patriots of our party, we have to stand up and say it. Life is not about position.
Yes, they will see some of us going contrary to the government.
I'm not going contrary to the government. My life is not determined or fashioned by the positions I occupy. It is determined by the impact, the positive impact we make on society, on people. If one day, which man will be Asrea, in my view, you've done your work for the day. And this is and I hope the president is listening to me, his good friend, his campaign staffer in 1998. And this is genuine, coming from the bottom of my heart. You should not allow people who don't have this country at heart to sing this country. He has worked too hard for this country for 40 years to get to this stage. And to me, that's my sound advice to him. And it's not too late. We have got 2 years. He can turn things around. I said before, there should be drastic surgery of the government. He's got to take fantastic action, cut to it. How is it convenient? So at the time that we are saying we are going to IMF, we don't have money to do so many things. You know, we have a budget deficit. Have you not seen gleaming new Land Cruisers that cost 175,000 being used by public officials? Have you not seen that?
I've seen that.
You've seen that? Is this the time to do such a thing? The president should fire those who undertook that procurement. Not at this time. Say, yes, Regana, for say, near my ding. We are tightening our belt. We have to lead by example.
The president said, why yet, because we're cutting down expenditure.
Well, it's not reflecting in the results. What we have now is that the city is in a tailspin. And Kwabena right now, the information that I do, I'm sure the managers of the economy, they know it. That in times past, very recently, about 40% of our securities was owned by foreign investors.
Yeah.
Now it's down to about 11-12%. There's a run on our money. And the central bank had indicated to them, had assured them, say, they'll give them the dollars if they want to take it away.
Okay.
And so we have to regulate things. When we are in serious times, we have to put ourselves on a war footing. They say, and so therefore things cannot be normal. And that's why I want to speak through this medium to my big brother, our great friend, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo Addo, to save ourselves, save our party by taking the decisions that are necessary to ensure, so at least those who are responsible for bringing us this far accept